Hi guys, maayong adlaw. Welcome to NatzMath TV. So for today's video, my presentation is about finding the common ratio of a geometric sequence. But before we proceed, let us define first what is a geometric sequence. A geometric sequence is a sequence in which each term after the first is obtained by multiplying a constant number called the common ratio. In my previous video about arithmetic sequence, I had presented to you about common difference, which is represented by small letter d. This time, for geometric sequence, our common ratio is represented by small letter r. So how do we write the terms in a geometric sequence? Given the first term, in this example, we are given the first term a sub 1, which is 3, and our common ratio is 2. According to the definition that each term in a geometric sequence is obtained by multiplying the common ratio. In this example, we have r, or common ratio, which is 2. So to write the terms of a geometric sequence for this example, of course, our first term is 3, which is given. And to get the second term, we just simply multiply the first term to the common ratio, which is 2. So that means 3 times 2 will give us 6. And 6 times 2 will give us 12. And 12 times 2 will give us 24, and so on. So for this sequence, our first term is 3 and our common ratio is 2. So we got 3, 6, 12, 24, 48, and so on. Now, for the second example, we have our first term is negative 1 and our common ratio is positive 3. So the same thing happens. We write the first term. In this case, we have negative 1. Then to get the second term, we multiply the first term, which is negative 1, to the common ratio, which is 3. So that is negative 1 times 3 will give us negative 3. Then continue, we have negative 3 times 3 will give us negative 9. And negative 9 times 3 will give us negative 27, and so on. So that is how to write the terms in a geometric sequence given the first term and the common ratio. Let's go to our main topic for this video, which is finding the common ratio in a geometric sequence. So we will try our first example. Our first example, we are given 5, 15, 45, and 135. So what is our common ratio given this sequence? 5, 15, 45, and 135. So how do we get the common ratio in a geometric sequence? To find the common ratio in a geometric sequence, we just simply divide each term by the term preceding it. For example, our last term is 135. So we will multiply to get the common ratio for this sequence. We will divide 135 by the term preceding it, which is 45. So that will give us 135 divided by 45 is equal to 3. Then we have 45 divided by 15 will also give us positive 3. Then 15 divided by 5 will also give us positive 3. So in this example, our constant number is positive 3. So therefore, our common ratio for this example number 1 is positive 3. Now let's proceed to example number 2. Example number 2, we are given negative 3, negative 6, negative 12, negative 24, and negative 48. So the same thing happens. We divide each term by the term preceding it. So we have, last term we have negative 48 divided by negative 24, the term preceding negative 48. So negative 48 divided by negative 24, they are both negative, so our answer is positive. So 48 divided by 24 will give us positive 2. Then we have negative 24 divided by negative 12 will also give us positive 2. Then we have negative 12 divided by negative 6. This one is also positive 2. And negative 6 divided by negative 3 will also give us positive 2. So therefore, our common ratio for this example is positive 2. Now let's proceed to our third example. For example, we are given this geometric sequence 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. We get the common ratio, so we divide 32 divided by 16 is 2. Then we have 16 divided by 8 is also 2. Then 8 divided by 4 will give us 2. And lastly, we have 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. So the same thing here, our common ratio is also positive 2. Now let us proceed to our next example, which is example number 4. So for example number 4, we are given this sequence. Negative 2, 8, negative 32, 128, negative 512, and 2048. So the same thing happens. We get the common ratio by dividing each term by the term preceding it. So our last term here is 2048. 2048 divided by negative 512. So 2048 divided by negative 512 is negative 4. Since this is positive divided by negative, our answer is negative. Then we will proceed. We have negative 512 divided by positive 128. The same, negative divided by positive is negative. So we have negative 512 divided by 128 is negative 4. Then we have 128 divided by negative 32 will also give us negative 4. Then negative 32 divided by positive 8 will also give us negative 4. And lastly, positive 8 divided by negative 2 will give us negative 4. So in this example, our constant number is negative 4. So therefore, our common ratio is negative 4. Now let's proceed to our last example. We have 2 over 3. Our first term is 2 over 3. Second term is 1/3. Third term is 1 over 6. And last term is 1 over 12. So how do we get the common ratio for the sequence? The same thing happens. Our last term is 1 over 12 divided by 1 over 6. We apply the rule in division of fractions. We get the reciprocal of the divisor and proceed to the rule on multiplication. So in this example, we have 1 over 12 divided by 1 over 6. So our divisor is 1 over 6. We get the reciprocal of 1 over 6, so we just simply copy 1 over 12. We copy this one, we proceed to the rule on multiplication, and we get the reciprocal of 1 over 6 that will give us 6 over 1. Okay? And proceed to the rule on multiplication, so that would give us 6 over 12. That is 1 times 6 is 6, and 12 times 1 is 12. Then 6 over 12, we reduce this one by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 6 over 6. So our answer would be 1/2. That is 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So we have 1/2. Now for the next term, we proceed. We have 1 over 6, which is this one, divided by this term, which is 1 over 3. So the same process, we get the reciprocal of the divisor, we copy this fraction here, we have 1 over 6, proceed to the rule on multiplication, we get the reciprocal of 1 over 3 will give us 3 over 1, which is equal to 3 over 6, that is 1 times 3 is 3, and 6 times 1 is 6. Then we reduce by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 3, that would give us 1 over 2. So we have 1/2. And lastly, we have 1 over 3 divided by 2 over 3. So, we copy this first fraction, so 1/3. Proceed to multiplication. So that is 2 over 3. We get the reciprocal of 2 over 3. That would give us 3 over 2. Since this is now multiplication, we have both 3 and 3 here, so we can cancel this out. What shall remain is 1 over 2, so 1/2. So in this case, our common ratio is 1/2. So that's it. I hope you have learned something from this video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share to your friends, and hit that notification bell so that you will be notified if there are new uploads in the future. So thank you and God bless.